What's up, you guys? Happy Thursday. The shenanigans that happened before these videos. Brandon's like, I know. What do you keep saying?
What?
Thunder, lightning, roll call. Seriously, you guys, he's lost his mind. But hello, happy Thursday. Give us a hello. Give us a hi when you jump on. Hello, Mr. Nate. I think you must have a thing that like notifies you when we jump on. So it's good to see you. It's randomly, like it was pouring rain about 3 minutes ago, and now the sun's coming back out in Colorado. So I hope everyone is well. All right, guys. So we've been talking about judgment the last 3 days, 4 days. I don't know how many days. But we were talking about judging yourself, judging others, why we want to get out of judgment, and we talked yesterday about how to stop judging. Hi, Dula. So today I want to actually give you guys 3 steps that will let you figure out how to find awareness. We talked about yesterday that awareness was the key to non-judgment. So we want to give you guys the 3 steps or the 3 tools that you can actually use so that you can start to create a routine and some strategies around doing this. So as you start to bring awareness, we can move through this.
Keep going.
All right, I'm going to do this by myself today. All right, guys. So if you've heard my story ever or not heard my story, I am a huge fan of morning routine, right? So morning routine, literally morning routine, meditation, breath work, journaling, all of these things completely changed my life. They changed my relationship to myself. They changed the way that I feel every day. They changed the way that I showed up. It got me out of my eating disorder. It got me into a place of joy and happiness and peace. And so if you ever listen to me, if you work with me, that's like the first thing I do is I'm like, you guys, you got to have a morning routine, because in that morning routine is where you can start to find awareness. Okay. So the first one for me is either meditation or breath work, right? And I know for a lot of people, it's like, oh, you said the M word, right? Like, I don't meditate. I don't know how to meditate. That's for monks. And you know, and like, there's a lot of people that are really fearful of meditation because we're not good at it. Right. And so you hear us say all the time, like we're all living in our heads. The point of meditation is to get you connected to your body, connected to your soul, connected to your intuition. And for a lot of us, that's really hard in the beginning because we are doing all of our living in our head, right? So I don't care if you meditate. I don't care if you do guided intention setting, whether you do breath work, like whatever you're doing, the whole point of that is simply to create a space where you slow down, where you find intention, where you connect to yourself, and you let everything come through to you, right? Because in a world where we're hustling and we're going and we're figuring out, the answers aren't out there, right? Like what you actually need to do is come back into yourself, come back into some quiet, create some peace, and then you're going to realize all of the answers you're looking for are already inside of you, right? You connect to the higher source, whether it's God, universe, whatever you believe in. You create that time and that space to connect to that. And when you do that, you will be in awe of all of the things that come through to you, right? And so will it happen in the first day? Probably not. Will your brain be like, what are we doing? This is crazy. Why am I sitting here? Yeah, that's totally, you will. It's a practice, right? It is called a practice because some days are going to be epic and amazing and you're going to get downloads and you're going to be like, that was insane. Shh. I'm going to kick him out of this video, you guys. Like some days you're going to have that and some days you're going to be like, I couldn't stop thinking about my to-do list. And all of those things are okay, right? But it's the energy and the intention of taking 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is in the morning and just creating space and time for yourself to be with yourself, to actually create awareness to like who you are, where do you want to go, where have you been, what's showing up for you right now, what needs healing, right? That's just simply a space to get connected to yourself and create that awareness and that feeling. And when you have the awareness and you have the feeling, that's going to change your day every single day that you do it.
Good.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think along with that, you guys, I think one of the best things that we talk about all the time is also learning to come from gratitude, right? Like in that space, in that quiet time of also being able to be and come from a place of gratitude and be grateful for what you have in your life. Because I know for myself, it took me a long time to literally be able to look in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm proud of you, right? Like it was always that sense of, I haven't arrived yet. I haven't accomplished everything on my list. I haven't checked all the boxes. I'm not making $10 million a month. I don't have 8 million clients. I have all these things, right? And it was always that sense of I can't be proud until I accomplish all these things, right? Like what I have right now in this moment in time isn't good enough because I haven't met my marks or what I've put out on the list. And it's understanding that yet again, when we're coming from a place of judgment, if I'm projecting, because really what judgment is I'm projecting bring into the world, something that's a kind of a scab that I keep picking at, is being able to come from a place of gratitude and be grateful for what I have in my life right now and what makes me so grateful for it. And then I can live into that and then understand that everything I add on top of that is just icing on top of the cake. And so now I can see that I can come from inspired action instead of always chasing that rabbit that I'm never going to feel like I get to. And then when I feel like I constantly fail because my goals don't really align with my timetable, what reality is allowing me to do, I'm not constantly putting myself down. I'm not constantly not feeling like I'm accomplishing anything. I'm not constantly feeling like I can't move in the direction I want to, where instead I can see all the things that I have in my life and understand that I am super grateful. I'm accomplishing each little mark day by day, but at the same time, everything else that I get on top of it is just icing on top of the cake.
Yeah, and so another really cool thing, you guys, we've talked about gratitude journals. If you struggle with gratitude, literally take a day and write down 100 things that you're grateful for. And a lot of people are like, 100 things? Yes, write down 100 things and do that until gratitude starts to come to you. And you'll start to be like, wow, I'm really grateful that it's thundering and lightning and I have windows, right? Like you'll start to find gratitude in the little things. But a new practice that we just put into play that one of my mentors is teaching us, and I love it. It's super cool. I've never done anything like this, is that every day, you do your meditation, you do your gratitude, and then you write a note, right? So a text message, an actual physical note, whatever, to the person that you love the most, right? So every morning I get up and write a message to Brandon that I say, I love, honor, or appreciate you for something, right? And it's not that I want to get it back from him. It's not that I'm trying to get him to say, oh my gosh, you're the best wife ever. I mean, of course he says that. Just kidding. But no, it's not about that. It's about like just me saying that and finding gratitude in all of those little things. Gratitude in the chaos, gratitude in what's going on in the world right now. Just gratitude for that person. If you don't have that person, it can be, it can be a child, it can be a really good friend, it can be just somebody in your life that you feel grateful for, right? And then he also had us do, so that was yesterday, and then today was also to write a note to your kids. For those of you that are parents, I think this is gold, and it's something we're going to start implementing. It's just a sticky note every morning on the kids' mirror. Carson can read obviously now, but Sky can't read, but to start this habit now, and you think about all the stuff that's going to go on in their life and all of the things, and to every morning have a note from us that says, we love you, we think you're amazing, I'm so proud of you for this, and I love you no matter what, every day, right? I think that's going to be a really cool practice that will probably change their life forever. And on a parenting side, it just feels really good. Like we say that to our kids all the time. I don't know how much they receive it, right? Like I say to Carson all the time, I'm like, you know how much I love you, right? And she's like, yeah, but sometimes you yell at me. And I'm like, really? And that guy, I yell at you because you don't listen, right? But it's like, that's the part that sinks in. So to be able to do that and to say that, again, it's for them, but it's also for you, the amount of joy and actual gratitude you'll feel if you do that. So that's a side note to gratitude. Third piece for me, I think one of the biggest things is journaling. We talk often with our clients about journaling, and I know it was a big game changer for me. And I also know I go in waves. Sometimes I need to journal, want to journal, sometimes I don't, right? And so it's navigating your way through what feels good. But I think the thing about journaling and what I see with so many of our clients is everybody's like, yeah, I know how I feel. Like, I know what the best version of me is. I know all these things. And then you start writing and you're like, I don't know where that came from. I had the conversation today with one of our clients of, she's like, I thought I knew, what this was going to be. So her assignment per se was to write a letter from herself 6 months in the future back to herself now. And she's like, I thought I knew what it was going to say. And then I started writing and it just started flowing and it wasn't at all what I thought. And I find that for myself all the time is I'm like, yeah, I know how I feel. I'm pretty in touch of all these things. And I start journaling and stuff comes out that I had no idea was there. Right. And so allowing yourself to clear your mind, clear your brain, whether it's future casting, whether it's just brain dumping, whether it's writing gratitude, like actually put pen to paper. There's so much, that does for your physical body, for your energy, and for just moving that energy and moving those words onto paper, that I think is incredible. So whether that's 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whether it's one paragraph, maybe it's 6 pages, grab yourself a journal. If you need journal prompts, let us know. We can always help you with that. But like, just let the pen flow and don't judge it and don't think that you know what's going to happen. Just let it come onto the paper.
Well, and when you are able to write things onto paper, you're able to trap them, right? Like you're able to actually put them down and they can't go anywhere, because oftentimes when we're just using our intellectual mind, we tend to have a thought or have whatever, but the next thing that follows that is a story that justifies your feeling around that, right? Like how many times have you thought something and the next thing up there, well, it's because of X, Y, Z, where instead of like when you actually get to write that down, it's clear, it's down, it's unedited, it's there for you to actually be able to read and be able to see that. And instead of instead of having a protector come up to basically justify that allows it to move and be trapped in that moment in time. In addition to that, we were talking about this yesterday, and Courtney mentioned brain dumping is, for a lot of you guys that may listen to podcasts, may listen to a lot of things or read a lot of things, we can only absorb so much information, right? Like, I don't care if you're Albert Einstein, you can only absorb so much information. And so that information has to move, right? Like that's neuroplasticity. That's how your brain creates new connections, new new connections within your brain. So that's how you learn all the information. Well, when your brain's just like overloaded with all this information and isn't allowed to kind of just move and create new space for those things, you can read, you can listen, you can do all these things, but you're not going to be able to absorb it, right? Like it's the same thing of like knowledge is power, but it's potential power if you're not really using it or learning it, right? And so by journaling, by doing these things, you're actually allowing your brain to move and create space for the new information, for the new you, the new stuff that you're trying to create for yourself to actually be inundated into the system for what you want it to be.
Yeah, and I think we talk about all this. We talk about this with breathwork, and that's kind of the extra credit if you want to do it. So obviously, a lot of you guys know, maybe you don't, that I facilitate breathwork. I do 7 a.m. on Zoom every Saturday. It's free. If you want to donate, that's awesome. But really, my goal is just to serve you. The beautiful thing with breathwork is it lets your body move the energy, right? And so if you think about this, if your brain is junked up with all these thoughts and your body is junked up with all this energy, you can't let any of the new stuff in, right? Like you have to move the energy, you have to move the thoughts, you have to move all of that stuff so you can start fresh, right? Like if you feel contracted all the time and stressed all the time, it's because you have all the same thoughts. You have yesterday's worries, they're still in your brain. You have yesterday's thoughts, you have last year's, all this stuff is still there, right? Just like that energy is still stuck in your body. And so when you can move it, you can open up and you're like, oh, I can let the good stuff come in. I can let new thoughts come in. I can let a new way of being come in. But you gotta move the old stuff. And we're not like pushing it out and being like, oh, those are dumb thoughts. It's just like you gotta move it out of your system so that you can allow the different information to come in. So I love brain dumping. And a lot of times too, like if you're an entrepreneur, if you're somebody that's always like, oh, I have this idea, right? It's like, we do this all the time. We have these like someday files of like, oh my gosh, we could totally do this. And it's like, okay, no, focus on what we're doing right now. This is the thing we have to finish. Like you've heard us talk about like, we're never the completion people because we get sidetracked with all the new stuff. So it's like, get it on paper. It's a someday I'm going to do it. And it's there and I'm not going to forget it, but it's not something I'm going to do right now. Right. So if you're an entrepreneur, totally do that. Get it out on paper, have it on the thing you want to get to at some point in your life, even if that point isn't right now. Right. Same thing with emotions, with old stories, with all of that stuff. If you can get it out on paper, get it out of your system, get them emotions out of your body, that allows you space, that allows you expansion, that allows you to step into who you want to go and take that inspired action. I think we're going to be attacked by our dog.
Kids are coming.
So, anything else?
No, I think that we gave 3. I think we gave like 5.
Gave like 5.
So.
We're overachievers. So, anyway, if you guys want to join me for breathwork, you can always look on my page. There's a link to it. It's all Zoom. If you have questions like what is breathwork, what does that do, how does it work, let me know. Also, I have a ton of meditations. So if you YouTube it and you can't find one that lands with you or you want a specific one, I have gratitude meditations, I have highest best self meditations, I have cord cutting meditations. So if you want any of those, or you want a copy of some breathwork I've done, just drop me a message. I'd love to get those to you. Yeah, we love and appreciate you guys, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Take care, y'all.